Namaste. Namaste everyone. May I kindly request Dr. Ram Madhav ji. Namaste everyone. May I kindly request Dr. Ram Madhav ji to join us on the dais, please. Let us all raise for Vande Mataram. Have a seat. Janani Janmabhumischa Swargadapi Gariyasi. Namaste everyone. I am CS Purti Muralidhar. A warm welcome to you all to the 12th day of MyBharat 15-day National Lecture Series organized by the Disha Bharat. Disha Bharat is an NGO working in the field of value education since 2005 with the mission of nurturing values in the youth through holistic personality development programs that complement formal education. Its annual flagship initiative, the MyBharat National Youth Campaign, is a 15-day movement observed from 1st to 15th August every year. Conceived in 2020 as a heartfelt resolve to dedicate the Independence Fortnight entirely to Bharat, the campaign brings together students, educators, thought leaders and citizens through inspiring talks, lectures, competitions and civic initiatives. The lecture series of the campaign seeks to instill patriotism, inspire responsible citizenship and encourage every young Indian to think for Bharat, speak for Bharat and work for Bharat. So today we are at the 12th day of the online lecture series organized by Disha as a part of MyBharat campaign. Today we have with us Dr. Ram Madhav. Allow me to introduce Dr. Ram Madhav to you all. Dr. Ram Madhav is a well-known author and thinker, serves as President of India Foundation, an internationally acclaimed think tank in New Delhi. Dr. Ram Madhav had earlier served as the National General Secretary of the Bharatiya Janata Party and also served as the member of National Executive Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. Dr. Ram Madhav hails from Andhra Pradesh. After his collegiate education, Dr. Ram Madhav became Sangh Pracharak in 1981. He held various responsibilities in RSS at national level. From 2014 to 2020, Sri Ram Madhav had served as National General Secretary of the Bharatiya Janata Party. He was in charge of Jammu and Kashmir, northeastern states including Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura, Manipur, Meghalaya and Sikkim. He was successful in establishing the state governments in 7 states. He is known for socio-political diplomacy across the nation. In August 2024, Dr. Ram Madhav is given responsibility of Jammu and Kashmir's elections of Bharatiya Janata Party. Currently, he is the national in charge of Greater Bengaluru Authority elections from the Bharatiya Janata Party. A renowned author and thinker, Dr. Ram Madhav has over 800 publications to his credit. He has authored several books in English and Telugu, book on China, Uneasy Neighbors, Partition Freedom, The Hindutva Paradigm, Integral Humanism and The Quest for a Non-Western Worldview, Our Constitution, Our Pride, are to name a few. His book, The New World, 21st Century Global Order and India, was widely discussed by geopolitical experts at various forums in several countries. His latest book, Shakha to Nation, The Greatest Speeches of RSS 1925 to 2025, is being celebrated widely. He is a regular contributor on platforms like The Indian Express, Hindustan Times, Organizer, Open Magazine, amongst others. Widely regarded for his contributions in the field of strategic thinking, political philosophy and India's foreign policy, Sri Ram Madhav has travelled widely and addressed several international fora. His weekly column Ram Rajya on each Saturday in the Indian Express has achieved wide attention and appreciation among intellectuals. We welcome you, Dr. Ram Madhav ji. May I kindly request Dr. Ram Madhav for a special lecture on the New World Order, Strategic Position of Bharat in Global Leadership. Over to you, sir.
Namaste. Let me, at the very outset, congratulate the team of Disha Bharat for taking up this very onerous task of organizing a 15-day lecture series. It's not easy for the organizers, it's not easy for the participants also to attend for 15 days every day. But it's a very commendable effort, as mentioned earlier, to inculcate certain values and also trigger certain thinking in the youngsters of our country. So I congratulate the team led by Rajesh Padmar, and also I appreciate the interest of this audience in a topic which is otherwise a very specialized one. Any talk about global order, foreign policy, etc. is a niche topic. It's not something that every person would probably understand and relish. However, I see so much interest on a today is a working day, on a weekday, and especially on a rainy day in Bangalore's traffic. So many of you have turned up. I actually congratulate you also, and also thank you for turning up in such big numbers. I authored a book on this theme last year. It was released last year. So one event happened in Bengaluru also. Last year on a similar topic, I would say, not exactly the same topic, but on a similar topic, because my book was dealing with the new world. So some of you probably would have attended that lecture. If anybody attended that lecture, for you, some of the points that I may make today could be a sort of a repetition. Nevertheless, let me begin by stating that we are heading towards a new world. The world that we have seen or we have lived in last so many decades is going to change. It's already undergoing a tremendous transformation, tremendous change. That change we are also seeing, experiencing in front of our own eyes. Sometimes we acknowledge, we don't acknowledge. We don't realize that things are changing, but things are changing right in front of us. So we are moving away from the old order. The new order is slowly taking shape. It happens in history. From time to time, the kind of system we lived in would undergo some transformation. A new system would take place. You know, you would have read that famous Tennyson's quote, "Old order changeth, yielding place to the new, lest one good custom corrupted the whole world." What is good today need not be good 5 years from now. So today's good thing can become a corrupting thing from 5 years from now. So the orders keep changing. We are in that process of entering into a new world. It happened in the past also. In fact, one such transformation happened in 1930s, before the Second World War. That led to the Second World War. And after the Second World War, a new type of world structure was created through United Nations and other organizations, which we have lived in the last 7 decades. Before that, there was a different type of world. In between the two, when the transformation was happening, there appeared a statesman scholar in Italy by name Antonio Gramsci. Gramsci was a great scholar, but also he was a member of the Italian Senate at that time. Italy was under Mussolini's rule, we all know. He said something interesting. He said, he was talking about 1930s. He said the old order is dead. The new is yet to be born. This interregnum, this gap between the two, is the time for monsters. Meaning when that transformation takes place, there could be so many monsters raising their heads. We are actually in such an interregnum period now. I'm not calling any given leader a monster. I leave it to your imagination. I am sure you have your own imagination. But there will be different forces in operation at the time of the transformation happening. So we are passing through that period of transformation from an old order which has almost ended. The one that we created after 1945, after Second World War, has almost come to its end. The new order has not yet taken shape. It is yet to take shape. This period will see lot of, Hindi mein kehte hain uthal puthal. Lot of upheavals we see. We see a lot of forces rising their heads. You know, that's what Gramsci said, the time for monsters. So this period requires much greater, much more sophisticated handling of the affairs of each country. That applies to India also. I would like to highlight certain important aspects of this transformation that is taking place. First and foremost, we are all probably, at least we know a little bit about America, these countries. Most of us probably have our relatives living there. Have we ever imagined that the President of America had to hide in a food cart to board his aircraft and travel from Turkey to London? Have you ever imagined? अमेरिका के राष्ट्रपति को फूड कार्ट में छिपना पड़ेगा. That is what is happening today. One of the most important features of this new order is the diminishing power of America, or in specific, but of the West in general. That doesn't mean, America will vanish or disappear. No, that's not what I'm suggesting. There is a perceptible decline in its influence, so much so that Donald Trump himself said yesterday that I had to hide in a food cart and board my flight so that I could safely, land in London without being targeted by the Iranians. That's the state of affairs. So one side is that decline of a country which 20 years ago claimed that I am the only power in the world now. They declared in, after the collapse of Soviet Union in 1990s, early 90s, American political scientists like Francis Fukuyama, they declared that end of the world. Now there is no more world existing. Everybody has to follow America. The age of unipolarity has come. This is what they declared. End of history, not end of world. End of history they declared. But today, it no longer appears to be any unipolarity and supremacy of America. It appears that that influence is waning, is declining. And we are also experiencing simultaneously the rise of China as a very influential global power. This also is quite visible. In fact, today, if we talk about our own region, which we call as the Indo-Pacific region, the number one power today in Indo-Pacific region, according to American political scientists, is not America, but China. They are writing in their columns that China has acquired greater power and influence in Indo-Pacific, which probably US cannot single-handedly challenge. This is what they are writing. So there is a corresponding rise of China as an important power in the world. The third thing that is happening is the rise of certain new powers. As I said, China, Russia rose as a new authoritarian power. Iran, run by a system called Vilayat-e-Faqih. Vilayat-e-Faqih is an 8th, 9th century model. In the Shia Islam, they follow the leadership of imams. The 12th imam of the Shias had disappeared. But the belief continued that he still is very much there. God had a plan to remove him from the visibility of human race. He would come back. Until his return, the duties will be performed by a wali, who is the supreme jurist. his rule is called Vilayat-e-Faqih. That Vilayat-e-Faqih system is what runs Iran today. Ayatollah Khomeini in 1979, when he became the supreme leader, he expanded the powers of this wali, the institution of Vilayat-e-Faqih, to include all the powers of political establishment, judicial establishment, administrative, social establishment. All the powers are concentrated in the hands of Vilayat-e-Faqih. Vilayat-e-Faqih is not an elected institution. It's a religious institution towards which the Shia community has utmost reverence. So that kind of a system is a very powerful system in the world today. We know about, probably about democracies, we know about dictatorships. Do we know about Vilayat-e-Faqih? There is another model. So there are democracies, there are dictatorships, there are other forms of government running in the world today. And there are multiple poles today. Multiple countries have risen as important powers. Earlier, you had to only choose between two. Either you go with America or you go with Russia, earlier. But today, it is not sufficient. There are multiple power centers that have arisen in the world. It is called multipolarity. India has also emerged as an important pole. And today, lot of small groups are emerging new groups are emerging. You can't ignore them. Right now, India is chairing a group called BRICS. 11 country grouping, BRICS plus they call it. Started as a 5 country group, today 11 country group. It's an influential group in the world. In that group, there is China, there is Russia, there is Brazil, there is Nigeria, there are several countries. 11 countries are members. Do you know another 35 countries are waiting, seeking membership in that group? It's now emerging as a big group. Very recently, a new group was formed. Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan. And as we are talking today in Islamabad, a book is being released. The title of the book is The Islamic NATO. They're calling it Islamic NATO. So you can't ignore these groupings that are emerging in the world. So we are in a world of minilateral groups, multiple powers. And on top of it is the kind of forces that are emerging, like, multinational corporations are very powerful today. Do you know, as a country, we have allocated, suppose, in our annual budget, we have allocated some 6,000 crores for AI development, artificial intelligence development. Substantial amount we have given. But in terms of, in dollar terms, it is less than $1 billion. 1 billion is 8 to 9,000 crores. We allocated this funding, and with that funding, a lot of good work is happening. But do you know Oracle or IBM has allocated more than 100 crores for it. Microsoft, Sundar Pichai announced that he is earmarking $200 billion for it, not crores, $200 billion for it. Oracle has earmarked $50 billion for it. These are all emerging as very powerful players in the world. So we are living in a new world where these players, multinational giants, are, I was in Hungary some time ago. Their president, his name was Viktor Orban at that time. Their prime minister, he was Viktor Orban. He lost elections earlier this year. but he was the prime minister. So he came to address a meeting. There, the very first sentence he said was that my country faces a big threat. I thought he would say that the big threat is coming from Donald Trump or somebody, some other country. He said, my country faces big threat from George Soros. Who is George Soros? Does he have an army? Does he have a country? Is he the prime minister or president of any country? No, he is just an investor. But he is so powerful that he emerged as a mortal threat to sovereign nations today. At least nations perceive him to be a threat. In our country also, we hear a lot about George Soros conspiracy, etc. In our country also, we hear about it in social media. Means countries have to be guarded about these players also. They are not states, they are not armies, they are not governments, but they are also forces in the world. That is what is called heteropolarity. We are living in a very heteropolar kind of world. Then the very interesting but very important player in this world is technology today. Technology has broken all frontiers. We are heading towards an era of tech humans. We are all called Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens came into existence some 40,000 years ago. This race of humans came into existence 40,000 years ago. There were humans 40,000 years ago also, before that also. Neanderthals and other types of humans existed. But slowly, those races, they disappeared slowly. Their time was over. We Homo sapiens became the humans of the world. It looks as though we are heading to a situation where our time is also ending. Our place will be taken over by tech humans. Tech humans means they will be like humans, but they will be driven by technology. Already several of you would be having pacemakers running your heart. You are also run by a machine inside your heart. But, it is nowadays known as wearables. Wearables are a big thing in technology. To enhance your ability, you can wear things. You can wear something in your eyes, your vision will enhance. You can wear something on your hands, your certain things will enhance. We are right now in the phase of wearables, but slowly you will move towards a kind of human existence where technology will make the humans. You only see that in sci-fi movies until now. Some humans coming from another planet, having, some kind of a very technologically made body and all that. It will be a very simple reality now. In China, in many other countries, we have the era of robots. Those robots can run faster than humans. They defeat humans in running races. They do things much better than humans. They do all sorts of things. So we are entering into an era where tech humans will increasingly take an important role. Technology is reaching that level today through artificial intelligence, quantum computing, semiconductors. In all these areas, the progress that is being made, especially the area of artificial intelligence, we are calling it artificial. Right now, we are nearing a phase called artificial general intelligence, AGI. That AGI stage is a stage where machines will have their own thought, their own thinking, their own decision making. We reach that stage very soon. Then it is no longer artificial, it is real. We are heading towards that kind of a world. And the institutions that we built some 75 years ago have all collapsed. Nobody cares for UN anymore. Those institutions have become, in a way, ineffective. There can be people claiming that we should again make them relevant, we should again make them useful, but I belong to those people who believe that their time is over. We need to build new institutions. Finally, there is an important shift happening for the immediate future, that is, the global power is shifting to the east. As I said in the beginning, the West's influence is waning, it is diminishing, the power is shifting to the east, to our side. We are in this kind of a geopolitical, geostrategic situation today. India is situated in this kind of a in this kind of a geopolitical reality. We have to conduct our affairs in this new reality, which we are doing with utmost diligence today. Given the heteropolarity, given the kind of divisions in the world, we have to maintain certain amount of balance and certain amount of resilience. You need to deal with different powers. There will be attempts to pull you towards one group, this group or that group. You need to have the ability to, not become a part of any group. Indians by nature are, in the last 75 years, at least by our practice, we have never become a party or a group in the world. We try to remain outside of all sorts of group divisions. When the world was divided into Soviet group and American Western power group, Western group, divided into two blocks, we decided not to join any block. That used to be called as non-alignment those days. Today we are not practicing non-alignment. We are practicing multi-alignment. Meaning, I will deal with you also, I will deal with you also. It requires much more, you need to be more resilient to handle different countries. The way you deal with X country can be different from the way you deal with Y country. But we are able to practice it. This we call as strategic autonomy. Strategic autonomy is not non-alignment. Non-alignment means I am not there, not here. Neither there nor here is what's called strategic autonomy. Non-alignment. Strategic autonomy is I am there also, here also. Not neither nor, but at both places and also. So we are able to practice that. That has helped India navigate through this very fractured, very divided kind of world. We also understand that the power has shifted to our neighborhood. The Indo-Pacific is where the whole power is concentrated. 50 years ago, Pacific Atlantic between Europe and America is where the whole power was concentrated. That was where the trade was happening. That was where the ships were roaming. That was where the wealth was concentrated. But do you know, today, that was not the region. That is not the region where wealth is concentrated. Wealth is concentrated in the Indo-Pacific. From the east coast of Africa to west coast of to east coast of Japan. This is the region where the whole wealth is concentrated. Here are the countries which are emerging new economies, whether it is Indonesia or Singapore or South Korea, or for that matter India, a $4 trillion economy. Here are already developed economies like China, like Japan, like Singapore. Here is the money. Here is the population. Here are the people. 60% of the world's population lives here. Here is the purchasing power. Here is the highest defense spending happening. Indo-Pacific is the most happening region in the world today. Those who sit in the space, watch from above, notice that highest number of warships or submarines are roaming around in Indo-Pacific region now, not in Atlantic region. We are the most happening region in the world. India understands its importance. India is playing a very crucial role, very proactive role in this region today. You probably might have noticed in June first week, Prime Minister Modi had 4 engagements. 1, the visiting Prime Minister of Japan. 2, he visited 3 countries, Indonesia, Australia, and New Zealand. These were not normal routine visits. These visits were India's message to the world that I have arrived in Indo-Pacific. I am an important player here. And we have had important defense agreements with all these countries. We have free trade agreements with some of these countries. And most importantly, with Japan. We had a bilateral agreement in which we agreed to start a track 1.5 trilateral. India, Japan, Philippines. India, Japan, Philippines is a very important kind of trilateral. It's track 1.5, meaning it's not track 1. But it's a beginning. Until now, there is another trilateral involving Japan and Philippines. That was with the US. US, Japan, Philippines trilateral already exists. It's already there. If today, Japan and Philippines want to replace US with India, you can imagine India's importance. So we arrived. We are there. But India also recognizes that how the US looked at this region or how China looked at this region and how we look at this region are different. We don't consider it as a region for hegemony. That's why we always say this region should be inclusive. When you ask any American scholar, expert or leader, they will say we want free and open Indo-Pacific, FOIP. But when you ask India, our Prime Minister said free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific. By inclusive, what we say is we want all the countries in the region to be stakeholders in managing peace in this region. So our approach is different to this region. We are not here to promote more conflict. We are here to make all the stakeholders and important partners in peaceful management of this most important region. That's why we also declared ASEAN, a group of 11 countries, a very important group of 11 countries in Southeast Asia, as central to Indo-Pacific region. Lest anybody had any doubts that India wants to become the pivot of this region. No, we said no. Let ASEAN be central to this region. Prime Minister, when he went to Shangri-La Dialogue in 2017 in Singapore, he declared that we consider ASEAN centrality to Indo-Pacific region. This is currently how we are trying to operate in this new, emerging new order. I conclude with certain caution, certain challenges, a couple of challenges. As I said, certain new forces are rising their heads. They have the potential to pose immediate challenge to India. India is conscious of that challenge. We have to guard against those kinds of challenges that can confront us. For example, the emergence of the so-called Islamic NATO. The role that Pakistan is trying to play in West Asia. If it helps in stabilizing that region, if it helps in building a stable Middle East, we should be happy. because India has huge interest in the Middle East. Our interests are tied to the Middle Eastern region, and Prime Minister Modi invested heavily in building relationships with countries in the region, whether it is Saudi Arabia or it is UAE or any other country in the region. So if the new arrangement that is emerging there helps in building a stable Middle East, stable West Asia, India should be happy. But it also has the potential to, because of the presence of Pakistan, its own machinations, its own, kind of thought process. It can also pose certain challenges to India. So, while you read, if you read the commentary about the new developments in the Middle East, you may find some people dismissing all these things, so there is nothing in it, it's going to fail and all that. India needs to take it seriously and watch these developments carefully, because we have huge stakes in the region. We have our people. Large number of Indians live in all these countries. Their security is of our interest. Their remittances are of our interest. So it's an important region that we have to look and handle carefully. That our government is trying to do. The second thing is the China factor in our region. China is an important player. India-China relationship is a very complex relationship. We have a standing bilateral border dispute. By the way, don't believe in the alarmist stories that appear that they are slowly taking over Arunachal Pradesh, they are going to occupy. It's all alarmist and, probably not fully based on facts. We have a very robust border guarding mechanism. There is a line of actual control that is being very jealously guarded by our security forces. So no such danger or no such thing is actually happening immediately. Nevertheless, in the region, entire region, we have the China factor looming all the time. As I said, it's a complex relationship. We have not so good relationship when it comes to our borders. We have an outstanding dispute with China. But we have a very strong trade relationship. India-China trade is $160 billion today. If you remove services trade, services यानी आप बेंगलुरु से जो करते हैं IT services. If you remove that trade, China is the largest trade partner of India. Including services trade, US is the largest trade partner. But excluding services trade, China is the largest partner. Not a very healthy situation, because in this relationship there is a huge imbalance. We import huge amounts from China. Our exports are very limited. As a result, the trade deficit is above 110 billion. Out of 150 or 160 billion dollar trade we are doing, 110, 20 billion are on the negative side. We are importing, not exporting. So this has to change. We are conscious of that challenge also. But there exists a relationship. Trade, we have a relationship, but on the border, we have tensions. So India is very carefully, diligently managing this relationship. Mutual respect, mutual sensibility, and mutual honor. On that basis, we are trying to maintain this relationship. But China's influence on different countries in the region is also something we have to carefully watch, especially in our neighborhood. Whether it is our immediate neighbors, those countries which are around us, which share borders with us, or the extended neighbors in Southeast Asia. There we are bound to face some kind of a competition that needs to be managed carefully, which we are able to do thanks to very proactive diplomatic activism of Prime Minister Modi. He himself invests heavily in our relations with all these immediate neighbors and extended neighbors. But generally speaking, our foreign policy mandarins our establishment. So these important challenges remain. Finally, the area of technology is also a challenge. It's not a small thing. India needs to quickly catch up. We lost 30, 40 years initially. When we became independent, Nehru decided that we will become a socialist country. You know, very funnily, socialist pattern of society, socialism, was first proposed by Nehru in 1936. Congress Working Committee resigned in protest against Nehru's socialism, 1936. Patel, Rajendra Babu, M.R. Jaikar, Rajgopalachari, all the top leaders resigned from Congress Working Committee. They said, we are tendering our resignations if you talk about this nonsense called socialism. Then Gandhi had to intervene, troubleshooter always in Congress. Then these people had to withdraw. Nehru had to commit that, no, I won't push for socialism anymore. But 1950, when India became a republic, Patel died, Rajgopalachari left Congress, Gandhi died, Nehru had a field day. Nehru started bringing back socialism again. He did not bring it immediately, remember. From 1950 to 54, if you read his speeches, he never used the word socialism. He used it in 1954. In 1955, he got it made into the policy of the government, socialist pattern of society, at the Avadi Congress session in Tamil Nadu, 1955. Socialism, which failed all over the world, became the creed here until 1990, when their own government of P.V. Narasimha Rao had to discard it. No, we cannot follow the socialist model. We have to become an open market economy. We have to pursue globalized economic model. Then we started changing. So we lost 40 years in the beginning. We are trying very hard to catch up, but countries have progressed. China also was a socialist country initially. But China discarded socialism in 1978, 12 years ahead of us. Though they progressed very well. By the way, in 1980, China and India were of the same economic level. By 2000, China progressed 5 times bigger than us. Today, 6-7 times bigger than us. So, we need to catch up quickly. We have lost many important years. We have to catch up. That is what our current government is trying to do, investing heavily in technology, in economic activity. Thanks to this government's efforts, from 2014 to 2024, in 10 years' time, Indian economy has doubled from a $2 trillion economy to $4 trillion economy. So we need to understand this technology is the future. In that direction, a lot of effort has to be made. That is what this government is also making. So in the given situation when the world is changing, there are certain immediate challenges before us. The government understands those challenges. There are certain immediate correctives that we have to take. Those things are also being taken up by the government. And we have a window of about 20 years now. In 20 years, we will have a totally new world. By then, India would really rise as an important power, because, let me end by saying that in 2014, when Prime Minister Modi went to America, Prime Minister Modi and President Obama was the president at that time, issued a joint statement. When two countries meet, they issued a joint statement. In that joint statement, for the first time in 60 years, we said something very, very important. That joint statement says, we acknowledge the ambition of India to rise as an influential and responsible global power. For the first time, we said we want to rise as a global power. And this is our ambition. But yes, many countries rise. Some countries, when they rise, others will have blood pressure going up. But when India rises, it will be a responsible rise. It will be an influential rise. That's our ambition. Towards that end, in that direction, our country is progressing. As I said, we have a 20-year window. That is why Prime Minister repeatedly says, by 2047, when we turn 100 as an independent country, independent nation, we should have a Vikasit Bharat, a country that will be fulfilling that mission, which was stated in 2014, rising as an influential and responsible global power. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Madhav, for that elaborate speech. While we talk about moving away from the old order and towards a new unsettled one, and India becoming an influential power, and you also spoke about catching up on the lost years. So Bharat today has demographic strength, economic momentum, technological ambition, diplomatic credibility, and civilizational depth to influence the transition. If we were to look 20 years ahead, what would a truly Bharat-led global order look like? And what must the young generation of Bharat do today to make that vision a reality?
Wait and watch. Don't be in a hurry to define, because what will be the shape of things 20 years from now cannot be defined today. But you have to be ready to play a very important role. For example, I talked about major technological transformation that is taking place, technological upgradation that is taking place. It's not like the upgradation that happened in the past. Technology has always upgraded itself from one level to another level. But today's upgrade is actually a challenge to the humanity itself, humans itself, Homo sapiens itself. The question is about the survival of humans. Because today everything will be decided by machines. You know, in the US and all, friends tell me that every Monday morning when they go to the office, they are quite scared. Because they are not sure whether they are still there in the given project or they are thrown out from the project. And who throws them out from the project? There is a digital system sitting there which has evaluated your work last week, in the last 5 days from Monday to Friday, and assessed your performance. It found you to be not performing well. It threw you out from that system to that project to another project. So Monday morning you are assigned another project. If it is done in our office here in Bengaluru, you go and catch hold of the collar of your manager here. But there is no manager doing it. There is one computer doing it. Your destiny is decided by machines. It's not just a story, fiction. It is the reality today. We are entering into a phase where machines will decide the future of the mankind. Now, in that scenario, what should be the role of, role of humans? That needs to be defined by, since you mentioned that an ancient civilization, ancient civilizations like us. What are those red lines where we need to stop the progress of technology also? Thus far, no further. It's not a crime. When you learnt the disastrous effects of nuclear bombs, have you not decided that no, we won't make it anymore? Have you not decided? Then why you can't decide about it in the case of these technologies, whether it's artificial intelligence or other things? Where to stop? Or you don't want to stop? Or you leave it to those market forces, to Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos? They will decide. No. The civilizational leaders, civilizational countries like India have to play a role. Unfortunately, so far we have not played any big role in that. Who played this role is very interesting. Vatican. Vatican hosted a conference in 2020. And the conference theme was ethics in AI. Artificial intelligence ethics. They called some religious leaders, their own bishops and all, but they also called leaders from IBM. They called from Microsoft. They called from other, these IT giants who are developing these technologies. And they came out with a 6-point charter. It's called Rome Call for AI Ethics. You can just Google it, you will get it on the internet. Rome Call for AI Ethics. And their Pope said only one thing: if you are saying AI is good for humanity, do it. But remember, man should be supreme. This is one sentence. Human supremacy should be there. These things we have to think in terms of how we use this technology. I'm just talking about one area. In such areas also, India has to use its civilizational experience, its wisdom, its knowledge to guide the mankind in all these areas. This is the kind of role India will have to play going forward. Of course, for that role to play, India first of all has to rise as an important global power. That is the effort that is going into right now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Madhavji. The floor is now open to take questions from the audience. We can start from here.
Namaste, Madhavji. My name is Nagarjuna. Thank you for that wonderful talk. My question is regarding the current contemporary chaos that is happening around FCRA. What are your views on that? And over the years, do you think that FCRA's unregulated ways or methods has damaged India? And how do you think India will navigate among this chaos? Thank you.
First of all, FCRA is a sovereign law. No outside power has any authority to interfere in this. It's our own sovereign business. We make laws as per our own country's requirements. America or American congressmen, etc., have no business to interfere. First of all, let them be very clear. Secondly, FCRA type laws exist in every country, including America. America's regulations with regard to foreign money, foreign contributions, foreign influence, much more stricter than what we have in India. They are very strict. Their lobbying is allowed. Lobbying is a legitimate activity in America. But how you lobby is very strictly monitored, very strictly regulated. So you have laws that regulate your own country's foreign money inflow, and you don't want India to do that. So those outside, powers which are making all sorts of noises have no locus standi to interfere in this. Number one. Number two, within the country also, the criticism is ill-informed. In Telugu, there is a saying, "Alu ledu, chulu ledu, koduk per somalingam ani." Those Telugu people understand it. Nobody has seen the act. But everybody is declaring it is a threat to this community, that religion, this activity. Have you seen the act? Have you seen its provisions? FCRA Act has been amended in the last few years more than 8 times so far. And it was amended in 2010 also. At that time, it was a UPA government, Congress government. They also amended it. Whenever there was a need felt, it was amended. A similar amendment is proposed. It has not been placed in public domain yet. It has to be placed before the parliament first. But in the parliament, they are not ready to, first of all, look at it first of all. Let them look at it. Because we have the experience of monies coming from outside India being misused for various activities. Do you know India has thousands of NGOs? But the actual religious NGOs are only 10% of it. This whole hangama that is being created, that it is going to impact the religious activity of so-and-so mission, so-and-so church. Hey, you are only 10% of the total NGOs. FCRA applies to all 100% NGOs. The objective is to streamline the way the money is being received. The money is being spent. So the criticism is premature. Bill should be discussed. And there is a need for regulating these foreign monies that are coming into the country. You remember there are people like, I mentioned about George Soros. There are people like them in the world who use their money power to create lots of disturbances in many countries. So, countries like India have every right to try and avoid such catastrophes, such dangers. For that purpose, a bill is being proposed. Again, I would say, you have, not seen the contents of it, yet creating a lot of ruckus, which is very unfair, very unfortunate. Let the bill come before the parliament, then we can discuss.
Sir, thank you very much for your summing up. I was a bit late, but I'll ask anyway. You mentioned all these alliances. You did not mention Quad, which is a sort of military alliance. That's also another alliance, and I think India has some role to play in Quad, which could be a counter to the Islamic NATO. The second point I want to make is that I am very worried about not what's happening outside, but what's happening within. You used the word civilization in passing a number of times. The American film director, Wim Wenders, made a very famous statement saying that the Americans have colonized the European subconscious. I think in India, the Americans have colonized our conscious. And from being a westernized state, our young have become Western. Their thinking is Western. They are out of touch with their civilizational ethos. And I think this is a very dangerous thing. The Americans will always talk about their founding fathers and their constitution. Western Europe is based on Greek philosophy. We are completely out of touch with our philosophy. I'll finish in a minute. So the final battle is not tech. The final battle is the battlefield of the mind. Thank you.
That also should be fought using tech. But to your first question about Quad, Quad is not an alliance, by the way. Let us be clear. Quad is an arrangement, a dialogue mechanism. We have not called it an alliance. It's a quadrilateral dialogue mechanism. 4 countries have come together for dialogue. That I talked about FOIP, Free and Open Indo-Pacific, is the main statement of Quad countries, minus India. India added inclusive aspect to it. So yes, Quad is an important dialogue mechanism in Indo-Pacific region. Coming to that important point that you raised, yes, it's a fact that there is an influence of Western thinking, Western ideas on us. But when I say, when we talk about it, don't just blame youngsters alone. It's there on everybody. Elders, youngsters, it's there on everybody. So it is something that we inherited right from the time of our independence. We believed that all our thinking, all our ideas, all our value system is useless. We should only borrow from the West. So Jawaharlal Nehru began it, and it continued in our country for a long time. Having said it, today's youngsters, whether you call it Gen Z or Gen Alpha, or all sorts of new names are being coined, they are very, very, very thinking type of youngsters. They are very thoughtful. And they are very independent. They have access to information, access to knowledge. They use that information, they use that knowledge. You mentioned about technology. The technology is the biggest driver of human thought today. There are things called WhatsApp universities. 90% is false in that, but that university influences the thinking. So technology is also helping people think in a particular way. So that challenge remains. Instead of blaming youngsters that they are influenced, what needs to be done today is to promote what is that Indian thought. We need to do that more prominently, more effectively. That needs to be done through dialogue, through engagement. not through dictation, not through cursing, not through dismissing our youngsters. By the way, when people talk about Gen Z, let me make it clear that Gen Z is not just that group which you saw last fortnight ago at Jantar Mantar. There is a huge Gen Z in RSS. The RSS shakas across the country have millions of youngsters attending every day. They are all between 50 to 30 years of age. They are also Gen Z. So many religious institutions have Gen Z. Gen Z is not something that you find only in one particular place. They are there all over. They are there who have very positive, very forward-looking ideas, shaped in our civilization, shaped in our value system. How did they get all that? Because there are institutions working to promote those ideas. There is an RSS, there is a Chinmaya mission, there is a Ramakrishna mission, there is some other organization. They are also playing an important role in promoting those ideas among the so-called Gen Z and youngsters. This activity has to be encouraged more, this has to increase, this has to use technology, because where these forces, sometimes even the Fissiparous forces succeed is in the use of technology. So don't lag behind in using technology. Use technology, promote these ideas, but finally I just want to only mention that don't think that it is the responsibility of Prime Minister Modi alone. One interesting thing that is happening in the last years is, of course, we have a great Prime Minister, we have a great hope on him. Under his leadership, so much has been achieved, so much more has to be achieved. But should not put everything in government basket alone. Lot of it has to be done by all of us. Society has to take up even Prime Minister says that. That's why when Swachh Bharat happened, he created the circle. 10 people nominating another 10 people. So society has a responsibility. We have to play our role. That's why we have to tackle this challenge of, tackling this Western influence. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Ethical and moral values. Yes.
Sir, please. Yeah. You can start, sir.
Thank you, everyone, for showing a direction and being focused. After Operation Sindoor, we have woken up, and our electronic warfare abilities are right there. Is it the fear of being taken over are we scared of, or FRCA being passed? Right when BJP, the current government, came into the chair, one young Patel rose against, and he wanted to create against the reservation system, which is what the secularism had punished ourselves. What FCRA is doing to us, we did it to ourselves. If America can put money and pass a bill and stop something, but we have to take a decade to change over our colonial mindset. Or maybe this was beyond colonial also. This was the Mughal era or something. Maybe I wasn't even born there. When everybody says going Western or thinking is Western, because that's easy to connect the dots. Here it is so confusing to even put a dot.
Sir, can I please request you to pose a question?
The question is, are we awake to go into the future, or we keep dragging ourselves, or can we leap forward? You said China is ahead. Yesterday, Long March rocket failed, whereas our missiles have been working. Maybe we are ahead, but we don't know how to tell it.
So we have definitely progressed a lot in the last decade. I would say continuous efforts that have happened in the area of technology, in the area of science. A lot of efforts have happened in the last 60, 70 years of our independence because of the greater push or greater support that these areas are getting from our government. Greater success rate is being witnessed today, being experienced today, but a long way to go. Please don't go by this racket fell down, so we are ahead of them. No, we have to go a long way. We have to really work hard. Indians have this complacency. That complacency will kill us. Don't be lethargic. We have to work hard. We have to go ahead of the curve against many other countries. That effort has to go on. About FCRA, I just want to mention that this is not the first time that amendment is happening. I mentioned in 2010, UPA government did one amendment. Even this government, before 2026, they amended it 3 times. The same FCRA. We have been constantly upgrading the acts whenever they are, whenever it is felt necessary. So we are not backward looking. We are forward looking. With that forward looking approach, we are amending certain acts.
Sir, namaste. I'm Prasad from BTM Bangalore. I just have a couple of questions. The first one is, strategically, I would like to know what is, we know that the Gulf War is going on in the Gulf region between Iran and the US. And Iran, we are seeing in the media repeatedly trying to find out that why don't India try to play something? I would like to know the diplomacy between what exactly is going on, what is India's position in trying to strategically play in this particular role? How exactly they want to play and how they want to show them to the world. And second one, we are talking about deep technological innovation in Bharat. We have roughly about 250 million school-going students in India, in Bharat, out of which around 52% are government school students. I would like to know what we are doing to, equip these government school students, 52%, means more than 125 million students who are going to be the next Gen Zs in the next 10 years. What is the action plan to equip them in the coming days? Thank you.
Firstly, there are several conflicts going on right at the moment in the world. One is, of course, as you said, the conflict between US and Iran in the Middle East. But there's a conflict going on in Gaza. There's a conflict going on in Ukraine. There is a conflict-like situation in South China Sea. So there are multiple conflicts happening in different parts of the world. So India's role is very clear. You know, Hindi में एक कहावत है, शेर का पूंछ नहीं पकड़ना है. Never try to grab the tail of a tiger, thinking that you can control it. Because by holding the tail of a tiger, you can never control the tiger. But you can never leave the tail. If you leave it, it will turn around and swallow you. Because you try to catch hold of its tail. So in all these conflicts, you should remember that lesson. Don't try to overactively get into that. You can never get out of them. Even America is unable to get out of the Iran conflict. The president had to duck into the food cart to escape. So don't expect that we should get into every conflict and do something. No, India is playing a very mature role. Where there is scope for playing the role of a peacemaker, we are ready. In Ukraine war, we spoke with President Putin also, we spoke with the Ukrainian president also. We can play such a role where it is possible. Otherwise, allow the situations to mature. What happens, we will see. What was the second thing? Education. Look, first of all, as far as schools and education is concerned, school education, 80% of it is in the hands of state governments. Under our constitution, major part of it is in the hands of the state governments. States run those institutions. Where states are investing well in improving the education standards of the government schools, there is definitely a lot of change, a lot of improvement happening. Point is right, we have to focus on government institutions. We have to improve the standard of those institutions. And as far as government of India's role is concerned, government of India has introduced a new education policy. The new education policy gives enormous freedom to institutions to implement all these things that you talked about, whether it is technology side or ethics side, moral side. On all aspects, enormous freedom is provided through new education policy. We have to implement. Lot of things are being implemented also. For example, in the central syllabus, lot of good changes have happened. Today, technology is a very important element in CBSE institutions. They start teaching this these technology-related topics from grade 3 or grade 4, I am told now, from that grade, but only in CBSE institutions. Maybe they are 10% of the schools. So it needs to percolate, it needs to be the responsibility of the state governments also. I think overall there is a good effort going on into improving the educational standards of our country. No doubt it's a very important area. Since we talked about China and all, there they start right at the primary level. Skilling is the critical thing. They skill their children. Not, Vivekananda used to say, education is not the amount of information put into your brains, runs right there undigested until your death. That's not education. You need to, Vivekananda's view was you need to impart value making, character building, assimilation of ideas. That was his idea. But today, value making, character building and skilling also has to happen. A skilled workforce, skilled manpower has to be created. That kind of education is the need of the hour. Government realizes, that's why the new education policy is introduced. We have to follow.
NGOs or private organizations taking over state government schools to run them.
In different states, different proposals exist. In some states like Madhya Pradesh, in those states like Tatas and others also have invested in primary education with the support of the state governments. So like that we have to make many experiments allowing those technology companies to come forward and invest in these things. At college level so much is happening. At college level a lot of tie-ups are happening now in many states, in Maharashtra and all. But at the primary and secondary education level, lot more improvements, there is scope for them.
Last question. Yeah.
We partly dealt with, we look at everything through a Western lens. Our thinking, our worldview, our paradigms, our benchmarks, our templates are all Western. Considering our civilizational depth, what are the steps that you envisage that we should take? Because we're just carrying on and there are only incremental changes. You got to actually change your way of thinking. So what are the civilizational depth-oriented changes which have to be somewhat radical, not just incremental, because otherwise they'll get embedded in the system, we envisage in our journey ahead?
Very true, but these lot of these things are already happening. Prime Minister, in fact, if you recall his speech last year from the Red Fort, last Independence Day speech, he gave this call of decolonizing the minds of our people. That was one of the 5 missions, Pancha Nishtas he talked about. One of them was you have to decolonize the whole thought process. So there is a lot of effort going into changing the whole thought process, as you rightly said. But remember, having traveled in one particular direction for so long, you will take your own time to turn around. There is a saying, elephants don't do about turns. You can't ask an elephant to do about turn. It will take its time to turn around. You have to give that time to that elephant. India is always compared with elephant. So you will take some time. But are we in that direction? I would say yes, we are in that direction. You talked about radical things. Vande Mataram, much disregarded, greatest inspiration of our freedom movement, much disregarded for 70 years, has been today made the national and equivalent of national anthem today. Everywhere we are singing today. So certain things are implemented in a radical way. 370 has been removed overnight. It was done in a radical way. But can everything be done like that? No. Certain things will take time. But the direction is there. We are in that direction. I call it, you take it as caution, or you call it one issue is not everything Western is bad. Whatever is useful for our country, take it. But have the power of discretion, where I can benefit from that particular thing. For example, democracy as an idea is a Western idea. We should have improved it through our own wisdom, our own mechanism. Gandhiji talked about it, Deen Dayal Upadhyay talked about how to improve this democracy to suit to Indian genius. We haven't done that because, as I said, initially we were under the influence, that Western influence. But there are certain good ideas, take them, improve them in your own way. I think that effort is happening in the country now.
Thank you so much, sir, for engaging in a dialogue this evening with Bengaluru. Thank you so much to everyone in the audience for your thought-provoking questions and proactive participation. Disha Bharat organized a MyBharat conclave on August 1st at the Hotel Capitol, Bengaluru, as a part of which Vikrama Weekly has brought a special issue. May I kindly request Shri V. Nagaraji, President Mythic Society, to join us on the stage, please. And Dr. N.V. Raghuram, President Disha Bharat, Srimati Rekha Ramachandran, Secretary Disha Bharat, and Shri Chandrasekhara Kulamarva, Vikrama editor, to join us on the dais to release the special issue of Vikrama Weekly covering the MyBharat conclave. Can we have a round of applause as we welcome all the dignitaries onto the stage, please? Thank you so much. I request the dignitaries to please stay back. Thank you so much, Dr. Ram Madhav, for delivering speech as a part of MyBharat campaign. Thanks to Mythic Society. Thanks to all the audience for joining us this evening. Thank you so much, one and all. May I kindly request everyone to raise for the national anthem, please. On a count of 3, 2, 1. Janagana mana adhinayak jaya hai Bharat bhagya vidhata Punjab Sindhu Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkal Banga Vindhya Himachal Yamuna Ganga Uchchal Jaladhi Taranga Tav Shubh Naame Jage तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे बोलो भारत माता की बोलो भारत माता की Namaste. Thank you so much. Also, tomorrow as a part of the lecture series of MyBharat campaign, Shri Jagdish Kumar, former Vice Chancellor of the Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, will be addressing. Request you all to please watch it on Facebook Live of Disha Bharat. Thank you so much. Namaste.
It's okay, sir.